On a clear morning in July 1937, two voices vanished into the sky. One belonged to a navigator. The other, to a woman who had already defied gravity, gender, and expectation. Amelia Mary Earhart was not just a pilot. She was a symbol. A trailblazer. A woman who turned the sky into a canvas and dared to paint her name across it. But somewhere over the vast, indifferent expanse of the Pacific, that voice went silent. No mayday. No wreckage. Just static and speculation. What happened in those final moments? Did fuel run out? Did the sea claim them quietly? Or did something, or someone, intervene in ways we've yet to understand?
Every mystery has a story, but not every story has an answer. Every week, we uncover the chilling cases that have haunted investigators for years. Unsolved disappearances, cold cases, and the darkest secrets waiting to be discovered. Are you ready to uncover the truth? Join us, if you dare. The Unsolved Chronicle.
For over 85 years, the world has searched. Sonar scans. Satellite imagery. Expeditions to remote atolls. Yet the central question remains, echoing across decades like a ghost in the static: where is Amelia Earhart? Not as a myth. Not as Lady Lindy, the media's nickname. But as Amelia, human, hopeful, and heartbreakingly absent. This is not just a story of disappearance. It's a story of what we lose when the sky swallows a legend, and what we owe to the truth, however distant it may seem. Amelia Mary Earhart was born in Atchison, Kansas, in 1897. By the 1920s, she had become the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, a feat that catapulted her into global fame. But Earhart wasn't content with records. She wanted to prove that aviation could be accessible, even routine, for women. In 1937, at age 39, she embarked on her most ambitious journey yet, a circumnavigation of the globe along the equator. Her aircraft was a Lockheed Electra 10E, a twin-engine Marvel, modified for long-range flight. Her navigator, Fred Noonan, a seasoned mariner turned aviator, known for his precision and calm under pressure. Together, they planned a 29,000-mile route, broken into legs across continents and oceans. By June 1937, they had completed over 22,000 miles. Their next, and most perilous, leg, from La, New Guinea, to Howland Island, a tiny speck of coral in the Central Pacific, just 1.5 miles long. The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca was stationed there, ready to guide them in with radio signals. On July 2, 1937, at 10 a.m. local time, Earhart and Noonan took off from La. The flight should have taken about 18 hours. But almost immediately, communication grew strained. Earhart's radio transmissions were intermittent, sometimes strong, sometimes garbled. She reported overcast skies, poor visibility, and difficulty receiving the Itasca's signals. At 7:42 a.m. Howland time, she radioed, "We must be on you, but cannot see you, gas is running low." Then, at 8:43 a.m., "We are circling, but cannot hear you." After that, silence. The Itasca launched a search. Within hours, the U.S. Navy joined, deploying ships and aircraft across 250,000 square miles of ocean. President Franklin D. Roosevelt authorized what would become the most expensive air and sea search in U.S. history to that point, costing over $4 million, equivalent to nearly $90 million today. No trace was found. Public reaction was stunned disbelief. Newspapers ran front-page headlines for weeks. Telegrams flooded the White House. Earhart's husband, publisher George Putnam, refused to accept she was gone, funding private searches for years. Officially, the U.S. government concluded by January 1939 that Earhart and Noonan had crashed into the ocean and perished. Their deaths were declared presumed for legal purposes. Yet anomalies persisted. In 1940, British colonial officers on Nikomaroro Island, then called Gardner Island, 350 nautical miles southeast of Howland, discovered human remains, a woman's shoe, a sextant box, and a bottle of freckle cream. Earhart was known to have freckles. The bones were sent to Fiji for analysis. A doctor concluded they likely belonged to a male, but that assessment was based on flawed methodology and incomplete records. The bones later disappeared. Over the decades, other clues surfaced, a piece of aircraft aluminum matching the Electra's dimensions found on Nikomaroro in 1991, a 1937 photograph allegedly showing Earhart and Noonan alive on a Japanese dock, later debunked as misdated, and numerous radio distress calls picked up in the days after the disappearance, some possibly hoaxes, others eerily plausible. Despite exhaustive efforts by organizations like the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, (TIRE), no definitive proof has emerged. The official case remains open, not as an active investigation, but as an enduring historical enigma. Theories and oddities. Theory 1, the castaway hypothesis. They landed on Nikomaroro and perished as castaways. This is the most widely accepted theory among serious researchers. Proponents, notably TIRE, argue that Earhart, unable to locate Howland, executed a standard landfall navigation technique, flying along a line of position until hitting land. Nikomaroro fits that line. Supporting evidence includes the 1940 bone discovery, the freckle cream jar, a brand Earhart used, and a partial skeleton consistent with a tall woman of European descent, though the original measurements were lost. In 2018, forensic anthropologists reanalyzed the surviving bone data using modern statistical methods and concluded the remains were more likely female than male, and consistent with Earhart's physique. Oddities abound, a campfire site with bird and fish bones, a makeshift knife crafted from aircraft metal, and a 1938 report of a woman's shoe found near a lagoon. Yet contradictions remain. Why no clear distress signal from the island? And why did Japanese records from the era show no knowledge of survivors, despite their nearby presence in the Marshall Islands? Theory 2, the Japanese capture theory. Earhart was taken by Japanese forces, possibly as a spy. This Cold War-era theory gained traction after World War II, fueled by rumors that Earhart had been held in the Marshall Islands or Saipan. Some former Japanese soldiers and islanders claimed to have seen a white woman resembling Earhart in captivity. A 1960 U.S. Army report even noted a possible sighting on Saipan in 1937. Supporters suggest the flight was a covert U.S. mission to photograph Japanese military installations, a claim Earhart's family and historians largely reject. Still, the timing is suspicious. Japan had militarized the Marshalls and restricted foreign access. If Earhart strayed into their airspace, they might have intercepted her. But no Japanese documents confirm this. Post-war interrogations of Japanese officials yielded nothing. And Earhart's known flight path makes it unlikely she'd drift that far north. Yet the theory persists, fueled by a 1937 radio log from a U.S. station in Hawaii that recorded a voice saying, "This is Amelia Earhart, help us," in broken English, possibly mimicked by Japanese operators. Theory 3, the secret return theory. Earhart survived and lived under a new identity. The most controversial theory claims Earhart returned to the U.S. and assumed the identity of Irene Bolam, a New Jersey housewife who bore a striking resemblance. In 1970, a book titled Amelia Earhart Lives alleged Bolam was Earhart in hiding, possibly to avoid fame or due to government pressure. Bolam sued for defamation and won. She provided documentation of her life predating 1937, and handwriting analysis showed differences. Yet oddities linger. Bolam had pilot's knowledge, avoided interviews, and owned a locket with an unmarked photo of a man believed to be Noonan. Most historians dismiss this as coincidence amplified by grief and myth-making. But the theory endures because it speaks to a deeper longing, that the sky didn't win. That she came home. Case status: the disappearance of Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan remains officially unsolved. While no U.S. agency actively investigates it as a criminal case, the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, and historical organizations like TIRE continue archival and field research. In 2023, advances in AI-assisted sonar analysis prompted a new underwater survey near Nikomaroro. Though inconclusive, it reignited public interest. Digitized radio logs, declassified military files, and crowdsourced analysis through platforms like Reddit and dedicated podcasts have brought fresh eyes to old evidence. DNA testing is unlikely, no verified biological samples exist, but technological advances in material forensics keep hope alive. So we ask you, what detail lingers in your mind? The static-filled final call. The lone shoe on a distant shore. The possibility that she navigated not just the skies, but a second life. Share your respectful thoughts below. Sometimes, the coldest cases thaw with fresh eyes. In memory of Amelia Mary Earhart and Fred Noonan, not headlines, but lives. Not mysteries to solve, but people to remember.